pupils.
Man, that was a perfect time to start recording. What the fuck did you just call us?
Pupils.
Star pupils, Ben? Star pupils? That's amazing and terrible all at the same time because it assumes the people listening to the show is learning from us, and you shouldn't learn anything from this show. Hello and welcome to Star Wars Every Week Forever, the podcast in which we watch one Star Wars movie every week forever. This week, Attack of the Clones for the 6th time.
Woo! Yay!
That doesn't
Too many
deserve
times for Attack of the Clones. Too many times. I'm going to say it. That's too much.
Too much.
Let's say it. It's too many times for Attack of the Clones.
Confetti.
Ben, how was your watch?
I hate everything.
And we're back.
We're back, baby.
Existence is futile. Time is a flat circle. I await the sweet embrace of death.
We were in a good state of mind for a while there.
I'm in a great
right
state
back.
of mind.
Chris, how was your watch?
It was fine, I guess. I don't. What do you want me to say, Jay? It's Attack of the Clones for the 6th time.
Yeah.
Jay, how was your acid trip?
It was really great for the first half, and then I felt like the artificially induced acid trip of watching They Might Be Giants, or listening to They Might Be Giants while you watch Star Wars,
Watching They Might Be
wasn't
Giants
working
while you
anymore.
listen to Star Wars.
Yeah.
I think we should just refer to this whole rotation as They Might Be Star Wars.
So, yeah, I had the first half synced so scarily that I physically recoiled from the screen multiple times. And then the second half synced terribly. I was higher than I've ever been before, and then I was dropped into the pits of hell. That's how my watch went.
Jeez. I want to know how Palpatine devises some of these plans.
That's just what we say that like every time Palpatine.
Because
because it's the most amusing part of these prequels now to me.
He's like, all right, I'm gonna hire a bounty hunter, who's gonna hire a bounty hunter, who's gonna try to kill her with like fucking centipedes, but Anakin's gonna know the centipedes are there, and then Obi-Wan's gonna jump out a window, and eventually they're gonna track her down, and then he shoots her with a dart, and that's how she finds it. And everyone's like, you sure about that one, boss? He's like, no, it'll be great.
This one might be his most convoluted plan, actually, come to think of it.
It's up there with kidnapping himself
it's up there
to get
with,
himself saved from himself.
Oh, I really
up there.
Or up there with sacrificing himself to himself so Rey can become himself.
I want to know, you know what happened? It's that positive reinforcement thing is what happened. I bet Palpatine's mother just told him so much when he was a child. Oh, Sheev, you're so good. You're so good at plans. And so he just, for the rest of his life, he's like, I'm the best at plans. And then, you know, flash forward like a few decades, and he's white-knuckled at the front of a starship as it's plummeting towards a planet, and he's going, perhaps my mother was wrong. Perhaps I have things to work through in therapy.
I'm so glad that things work through there.
Oh my god.
Took us 6 rotations, but we finally made Sheev Palpatine's mother a character.
I'm so glad that scene is getting the due course that I wanted it to, because it took us a while to realize like how fucked Palpatine's face is during the Revenge of the Sith scene, where he's just like, oh
Yeah.
shit, stop fucking beeping R2, you son of a bitch.
It might be my favorite revelation of this whole
Yeah.
show that we do. Like, that might legitimately be my favorite revelation.
It makes me so happy, because it's the only time that Palpatine has ever shown in like a position where he's vulnerable. Not vulnerable as in a lightsaber duel, but like in a, oh shit, maybe I
Yeah.
don't have all of the plans myself right now. Maybe my plan might not work out. Maybe I made some mistakes with my life. Maybe I've made a terrible mistake and I'm going to die because of it. Like, it's the only time.
There's something hilarious to me about, I know this is the wrong movie, but I don't want to wait a week to talk about this, so fuck you, Attack the Clones. We have nothing left to talk about. We've covered In Sync, we covered the dude shitting himself. I'm talking about Revenge of the Sith. Go fuck yourself.
We'll talk about In Sync again shortly.
There was a brief period of time where the galaxy was almost left with Supreme Lord of the Sith, General Grievous. Because if Palpatine died, wouldn't that like technically make Grievous by default? Like, wasn't he a half-assed apprentice of some sort?
Not really, no. He
No.
was totally out of the loop with the whole like Sith thing.
He wasn't a Force user at all either.
It was
He had, like,
originally planned for him to become a Force user because they tried to infuse Sifo Dyas's blood into him, and the midichlorians didn't take. I'm dead serious.
I forgot about that, because the whole what happens to Sifo Dyas in EU is fucking batshit.
It's so bad shit. He was like
Like-
best friends with Dooku
Yeah.
originally, and it was like, dude.
And his rise to the Sith was Palpatine going, go and kill Jedi Master Sifo Dyas. And he's like, well, I'll fight him and I'll knock him out, but I won't kill him. And then he kind of puts him in like hibernation. And I guess at some point he's just like pulls the plug, because there's a ton of panels I remember of him like talking to Sifo Dyas like beneath all of his planning bullshit. And like, I guess at some point he's just kind of like, well, I'm full Sith anyway. I'll just go ahead and unplug that right there.
Oh,
Okay,
fuck it,
Grievous,
oh,
come
that
on
guy
in
now.
here. I don't need this anymore. Sifo Dyas, you have outlived my love for you has outlived its necessity. Just
I feel that.
Okay.
Do you kind of feel that about this podcast sometimes?
What?
I was trying to get that spit take from you. I don't think you heard me. Shit.
What? That the podcast has outlived its usefulness?
No, your statement of my love for you isn't, I love you, but you've outlived, That's how I feel about the podcast. It's like, I love this fucking podcast, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I love the editing process, so most days I'm happy to do it, but sometimes it's a pain in the goddamn ass. But every time I sit down here to record the podcast, it's the best day of my entire fucking week by a country mile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's the part where we actually have to watch the movie, and it's fucking dreadful.
I need you, Jay, to explain to me how you possibly have something to talk about In Sync today.
No, like In Sync is in the movie being in sync
Like
with the
synced
Mighty
up.
Giants.
Oh, Jesus.
It was a pun.
Yeah.
I missed that one, thankfully.
I like that I wasn't certain that's what was happening, but there was a glimmer of hope.
There's glimmer. It's never a good thing when Ben is excited that I might have made a pun, like whether I actually purposefully made a pun or not.
I'm rubbing off on.
Ben is like Palpatine up on a platform as Jay stands before a pun ready to just be unloaded, and Ben's like, yes, do it. Do it. Do it. Say it. Make the pun.
Make the fun.
Let the pun flow through you.
Jesus fucking Christ.
we're less than 10 minutes into the show, and I already have 3 title pitches.
Perfect. Palpatine's father's name is Consinga, and I don't know where to put that, but
Hold on.
this is information that had to be shared before it got lost.
Consinga?
Consinga Palpatine.
I mean, it's barely better than Sheev, but it's better than Sheev.
I don't know why hearing anything before Palpatine is hilarious. Like, you could just say, like, Bill Palpatine. I'd be like, yeah, that's pretty good.
It's
Billion
so...
Palpatine.
What was Palpatine's mother's name? Because that's a...
Oh, we don't know her name.
That's a dumb, complicated name. And then he looked at his kid and he went, nah, Sheev.
We don't know her name.
Are we sure that Palpatine's father wasn't just really, really drunk and he was trying to say shove off, but he said sheev off?
It was another older clone of Palpatine. They've been cloning for years. It's just the same.
It's an infinite regress of Palpatines.
And it's like they've been trying in a cycle of like every 1,000 years. They've been trying to take over the galaxy just in a cycle of like 1,000 years. There's a bunch of fuck ups, and then they get to the Sheev Prime, and then
Sheev
and then
Prime.
something inevitably defeats Sheev Prime even, and then the cycle starts again. You know, well, maybe Rey finally ended it. Maybe Rey didn't. Maybe Rey has been just another clone of Palpatine all along.
Every 1,000 years, there's another Sheev.
Palpatine like a cicada. It's just every.
Hold on, you can tell this is the most. Think about it this way: we're going to be doing this podcast for the rest of our lives. This is the most 2021 thing we will ever mention. 2 cicada mentions on 2 weeks in a row. Really, really, really makes it very clear that this is June 2021 recording.
You know what's really funny too, like, because of the nature of this podcast and the way it fucking works, is we're gonna see another cicada season with this fucking podcast. Like 18 years from now, we'll be in rotation, whatever. I'm like, God, fucking cicadas. It was like rotation 6 the last time there were cicadas.
And here we are on rotation 273.
Ben's like, damn it, Chris, close the door and put the gas mask on. We need to get back down to the bunker.
You're gonna let the nuclear fallout in.
At that point, the bunker will have evolved into like a cult complex.
Yeah.
Now come on over here. We've got to watch Star Wars Episode 15 within the safety of our post-apocalyptic bunker.
Bunker of us and the star pupils.
Star pupils.
No, the internet's still intact. It's just us living in a bunker, not able to go outside.
It's gonna be the whole cult. It's gonna be the 3 of us, Redacted, Zins, and Mr. Mishap, all in a bunker.
Friends of the show.
Friends of the show.
And Anja maxed out. We'll get Anja maxed out.
And Rick McCallum.
Trento Duava. Hoogans.
Geode. Fucking Hoogans. God. Fucking Hoogans.
Tim Curry.
God, I wish. I would really spend a lot of time in a bunker with Tim Curry.
It's just Tim Curry and Rick McCallum.
I would kill for just an afternoon with Tim Curry.
Yeah. So do you want to hear how this sync went?
Oh, I so want to hear how this went.
It was an experience, let me tell you. So the song, I'm leaving numerical leave-offs on the show, so I left the ending of Mammal from Apollo 18 started the show, and then Statue Got Me High played right after it as like the Naboo Cruiser kind of comes in. The lyrics, and as the screaming fire engine filled the air, the evidence had vanished from my charred and smoking chair, prelude the explosion that occurs with the Padme Amidala's handmaiden's death. The tuba of the song hits right after the explosion, and then the lyrics come back. The as she dies, the lyrics, "The stone it calls to you" play, which wouldn't really be a great sync for anybody that hasn't played a dwarf in D&D or any kind of system there.
Wait. The stone is geode.
The stone is geode. It makes all the sense in the
If I
world.
If I could replace every explosion in a Star Wars movie with just a tuba blast, I 100% would. Yeah, just every single explosion.
Go full Sweeney Todd and just make it like a fucking foghorn.
And then the entire lyrics that and the screaming fire engine siren filled the air repeat as Padme is pulled away from the scene. In the Palpatine scene with the council, the song Spider plays, which is just this weird song about being hypnotized by a spider with like one half of your brain trying to tell you to kill it and like the other one like trying to like becoming friendly towards it, which I just find works really well with Palpatine in general. It's the first time I've ever heard the song, so it was a little hard to follow, but it was very good with just Palpatine. There's an early
First time Jay's heard a They Might Be Giants song.
I mean, as you'll find out, there's so many of them. There were several I heard for the first time on the Phantom Menace one. One real big disappointment was the guitar didn't start off this watch because it has the lyrics "In the spaceship, the silver spaceship, the lion takes control." That would have been really good if it just started out the episode. It does, however, hit the terrible symphony of overwhelming horn instruments that don't at all like add together just as it cuts the elevator. Narrow Your Eyes plays throughout the Kenobi and Anakin chat about Padme, and it fits really well because it's a song about a kid being recklessly in love without knowing what being in love means. Hall of Head hits as Obi-Wan and Anakin sense something is wrong, which has these like spaghetti western strings, and it hits like these psychedelic trumpets as soon as the chase starts, which describes how you're feeling all the time. Hits the lyrics that go, "There's this guy in the sky and he makes you want to sigh." Literally, as Anakin almost hits a big big blimp-like shit at a 90-degree angle drop. Anakin being the guy in the sky that makes you want to sigh. Anakin jumped out of the ship just as the lyrics, "But the city lights just got in my way" hit during the song Constellation. And then the lyrics line up fucking great with the rest of that sky fight. The song "If I Wasn't Shy" plays as Sam disappears into the bar. Just a fantastic song called "If I Wasn't Shy" as she kind of just disappears into the crowd and they go looking for her. The song "Turn Around" hits as Anakin walks through the crowd up until Zam has her hand cut off. The song goes, "I was working in my office all night when a man I had recently killed called me up from a phone near my building, so I looked out the window at him. He had made some ubiquitous manner. That was the reason that I had him killed, so to calm my nerves, I sang the song to him over the phone." And at this point, Obi-Wan slashes her hand off, turns around and slashes her hand right, and the chorus starts turn around, just as he does it. It was fucking perfect. And then one of the two biggest moments for me is outside. The lyrics, "I felt something heavy and pointed strike me in the back of my neck," just as the dart that hits Zam hits her fucking neck. So literally the action that is happening with Zam happens in the song as it happens. The rest is a little hit and miss, but I want to cut to...
Can I real quick?
Yeah.
You said the song "Turn Around," and I was 100% thinking about Bonnie Tyler.
Fucking totally close to the heart immediately. That's exactly
the panning shots where it's like behind Obi-Wan, behind Anakin, and all you hear is...
Yep, that's Ben. You might be wondering how he got cut from this bit. Well, it all started in the summer of '69 when Ben tried to sing Bonnie Tyler's "Total Eclipse of the Heart" on the podcast, and we panicked and had to cut it out because of YouTube. You notice I haven't been singing the They Might Be Giants song? Censor.
Cut his mic!
You notice I haven't been singing the songs?
Yeah, I know, but I had to. It was my soul required it.
So I'm not going to bother you too much longer with these, but I want to jump ahead to the worst scenes in the movie that were the best scenes in the movie for me this time around, which is the Anakin and Padme scenes.
Oh, yes.
Everything else is kind of a letdown, but all of these scenes are fucking
Kinda
incredible. Kind of like this movie. The song "Everything Is Catching on Fire" plays as Anakin walks into Padme's room. The song "Fingertips" combined, which is like, for some reason on Spotify they took all of the like very short, like 20 to 30-second songs on, I think it was Apollo 18 still, that go throughout the soundtrack into like one song with like a couple exceptions. So a couple of weird things happen during this. When Anakin's kind of making her uncomfortable towards the end of the scene, the lyrics hit "Something grabbed a hold of my hand. I don't know what had my hand, but that's when all my troubles began" hit, which right as the scene ends for Padme is incredibly accurate. That's when all the trouble began. Skipping ahead a little bit, the song "Sleeping in the Flowers," a song about a man pining over a coffee shop employee that he has a crush on, and is just as creepy as it sounds, plays throughout the sand scene.
Is it Charlie from It's Always Sunny?
Might as well be.
Is it Charlie from Lost from Star Wars?
It plays
Charlie from Lost from Star Wars from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh no. That scene plays through the Clone Army reveal and all the way into the scene in the flowers with Padme, which I will once again say that the name of the song is "Sleeping in the Flowers." Most of it being the ending section of guitar and brass. It cuts out, and before it cuts out, or just as it cuts out, you can hear Padme saying, "Sounds like a dictatorship to me," and then "Unrelenting Things" hits with the lyrics, "Do you smile 'cause I'm funny," said the man. "I wasn't joking, and I meant the thing I said." So those lyrics play literally over the dictatorship scene. They Might Be Giants basically saying, yeah, he's full of shit. Are you laughing at him? No, he's telling the truth. He absolutely does believe fascism will be the better. And I almost got up and left the room. I was so just like floored. The only real last good sync in the movie would be there was like a race car song that played during the pair scene. It wasn't great, but it was kind of funny as it kind of watching it kind of float back and forth. It was fine. It was AKA Driver. As Anakin says, "You are in my soul tormenting me," the song "I Should Be Allowed to Think" hits. I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed by madness, starving hysterical, which is how I feel about Padme being with Anakin. It fits kind of terribly with the rest of the scene, but the line "I should be allowed to shoot my mouth off" is cut immediately by Padme shutting Anakin down, which is great. And that's kind of the last of the really, really, really great syncs. But all of the Anakin and Padme stuff was exceptional in a really creepy way.
I will say, the one that I'm really, truly looking forward to is the dinner scene. There's nothing I'm looking forward to more than the dinner scene. As with most things. I mean, you can just say that about this podcast.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Just in general now.
Everything's a letdown after the dinner scene. It's just really...
It's kind of like Halo 3. Everything afterwards is a letdown.
Friend of the show, Zin, said recently they've only watched these movies maybe one time all the way through. Maybe two with the beginning too.
Lucky them.
Lucky them. They said that we've built this dinner scene up so much and they have no memory of it. And I don't think they realize, or anyone that doesn't watch Star Wars realize, which really that's the best way to listen to this podcast, is having no idea what the fuck is going on.
That's what, side tangent, I have one friend who I keep telling her, I'm like, you need to watch our pod or listen to our podcast or something. And she's like, I've never seen Star Wars. And I'm like, exactly.
Yeah. have her listen to the last rotation, the one that's currently airing.
Rotation 5.
Yeah, like have her listen to Rotation 5 and then tell you what she thinks Star Wars is just based solely on our descriptions. Because
I really want to get her to listen to Cokehead Space Uncle. Because I feel like that first episode, we went way off the rails real quick and it was beautiful.
Yeah, I really want to take down the preview episode just because Cokehead Space Uncle is so good. But we mentioned the preview episode so much that people would be like, well, why did you take this down? Anyway, You should have her listen to the show, and then when you ask her what the movies are, she's like, well, isn't it like Obama talking a whole hell of a lot to like Kermit or something? I don't know. I didn't.
She did try to watch. She watched episode 1 and 2, and then I think she was gonna try and like marathon all the movies, but she only got to 1 and 2, and I don't know if she ever watched 3.
I mean, if she didn't fare, it's a
Yeah.
hard. Yeah. All I was gonna say is that we built that dinner scene up so much that anybody that hasn't seen Star Wars won't realize that it's like 3 seconds, and everything from there is implied that we're obsessed with.
Yeah.
It's 3 seconds of beautiful cinema.
Well,
Yes.
I don't think our obsession really started until the radio drama.
Yeah.
And then like that got us talking about it, and then I think we started to realize how ridiculous the whole scene is on its face.
And I think it was you, Chris, who pointed it out first. Because you were
Yeah,
like,
'cause
I
it
was
was-
always curious about the
It was
logistics of
bugging me.
that.
Like it's just it has always bugged me my whole life. And we're talking about the dinner scene. It's attack. No, we can't. Fucking attack the clothes. Attack the clothes. We can't eat our dessert first. We have to get through the Brussels sprouts.
It's all Brussels sprouts.
It's all Brussels.
It's all Brussels sprouts with like a little cupcake
all
in the middle.
berries.
But then
Oops,
before
all
we see
Brussels
the
sprouts.
cupcake, we accidentally step on it, and we're like, "Fuck! I don't even get this cupcake. Now I gotta wait another 9 weeks."
Obi-Wan is the smoothest motherfucker in this movie.
Yes.
Son of a bitch rolls up to Camino, and he's just so goddamn slick. He's like, "You're expecting me?" And they're like, "Of course." He's like, "Okie dokie." And so he walks over to Mr. Prime Minister Man, and he's like, "Yeah, your buddy ordered all these clones." And Obi-Wan's just like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, didn't you want to look at them?" And he was like, "Yeah, that's what I came here to do."
Of course, I want to see my army.
By the
I
way,
guess.
who ordered them? What are they
that's-
for?
One of my favorite lines in the entire movie is just Obi-Wan going, "That's head turn why I'm here. I don't know, I guess." Like,
He says that after asking who ordered the army and who the army is for. Those are the prior 2 lines.
Yeah, like
choose
at a
to
certain
believe-
point, if I showed up to a pizza place and they hand me like 5
A
pizzas.
million pizzas.
Yeah. And they're like, "Well, here you go." I'm like, "These aren't. They're like, "Oh no, I don't. Who ordered this? What's the name on the order? What type of pizzas are these?" Okay. Oh yeah, no, these are totally mine. Yeah. Like,
Who ordered
no.
these? Oh, it
They're not
was
going to give me those pizzas. It's not. It's very clear at that point those pizzas are not mine. I have no knowledge of these pizzas, and you're just handing over the pizzas. Except in this case, it's an army of people. that
ordered
they're
by
just-
a dead man 10 years ago.
I just
Like Obi-Wan should have at least had to have shown his tracking number at that point. Is all I'm saying.
I choose to believe that the Kaminoans are like the Elcor in Mass Effect. They are a species that have no understanding of tone usage or like outward emotion. Like amongst their race, they have like a different way of showing emotion. So he's just sitting there like, okay, sure, yeah. I mean, I'm absolutely. And they have no
They
Like-
have no idea.
they have no understanding of humans enough to realize this is a little suspicious.
And then on the topic of suspicion, Obi-Wan then follows the bounty hunter to Geonosis, sees the bounty hunter standing there right next to the leader of the fucking Confederacy, and he doesn't feel the need to share this information with goddamn anyone.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I saw a meme recently that was just like Obi-Wan going to council and saying, "Hey, all these clones are of Jango Fett," and then it was just like the ending of the Star Wars
Yeah.
movies. But
Like
it's
the
like
credits.
it's worse than that because like they know it was Jango Fett regardless of if Obi-Wan
Yeah.
told them or not. So they just kind of like go on like, "Oh, you mean these were all created by a separatist sympathizer we killed around the same time as when we got the clone army?" That's fine. Let's just continue. It's totally cool. I'm sure
One
nothing's
who
wrong
we
here.
saw just, chilling out with the leader of the Confederacy.
It's one of those things that they really need to do some sort of expanded universe, expanding on. They really need to like do some stories like, oh yeah, no, Yoda totally investigated the clones for years trying to figure out why they just had an army now. Like, they just accepted that shit way too quickly. Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
Well, I
here's
mean,
your army.
I kind of get that they had to because the droid army and everything. But like, even during the war, an investigation could have been launched.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, especially when, like, we see throughout the Clone Wars so many other clones kept breaking. Clearly shit was fucked up to begin with. It's like,
That's the thing. It's a weird line because we live in America in 2021. We know how easy for a batshit thing to happen can happen when a system is broken. But I think
Yeah.
the thing that is different here is that this was a Senate that had like not had an army for 1,000 years. I think that more than trying to put it in a real world context is what makes me think you really like just kept those clones that fast. Like there's no precedent for this in most of the races that are on this Senate's floor's lifetime, but you're just gonna accept it? Okay, whatever you fucking say.
Yeah, don't worry, the Peacekeepers showed up with an army. We're fine.
Like
this movie really doesn't accurately portray what happens in this movie. It's called Attack of the Clones. The clones don't.
Wait a minute, Chris.
the words you just said out loud were, this movie really doesn't accurately portray what happens in this movie, and I just wanted to punctuate that before you explained yourself.
What did I say?
You said
This movie doesn't accurately. Go ahead.
The
Ben.
title. No, I said the title of this movie, didn't I?
No, you said this movie
this
doesn't.
movie doesn't accurately portray the events of this movie.
There's a lot of stuff happening. The title of this movie doesn't accurately portray what happens in this movie. The clones don't just attack. Like, they don't just... It
They
makes it
attack,
seem like the clones are going to be the antagonist of the movie.
The clones are the antagonist of ensemble productions.
Like, I mean, I really feel like, oops, a clone army would be a better title at this point. Like,
Oops, a clone army.
That's the second oops pitch that we've had for a title so far. This is recently in our time, not yours. We taped 6 weeks, 6 weeks ahead.
Star Wars every week, forever standard time.
There was
6 weeks in the past of all time.
So Ewan McGregor in a recent interview said that he's recording Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series, Kenobi the series. I guess potential spoilers. I guess he talked about how he walked past a stormtrooper when they were recording.
I remember hearing about this.
Yeah, and he was like, he had to stop and think, have I ever actually walked past a stormtrooper before? Because I'm getting like my hair standing up on end.
I'd have to think about that too. Gee.
Well, that was what actually brought up this point. Not only was he dealing with clone troopers back in the day, but he didn't see any of them. None of them were on set. There was never a set of clone armor made throughout the entirety of the prequels.
It was all just CGI.
It was all CG. And if you saw, oh no, I forgot his name. I'm so sorry. Help me. Django. Boba.
Rocket Man?
Tamara Morrison. Rocket Man.
Why did Rocket Man jog your memory? Ben goes Rocket Man. You went Tamara Morrison.
If you saw Tamara Morrison's face.
Us. We're broken people. This isn't normal.
If you saw
word association works.
If you saw Tamara Morrison's face on a clone trooper in the prequels, it was hyperimposed with CGI. There's also a lot of talk about the difference between filming Kenobi because they're using Mandalorian effects by having like actual screens behind them. there's a lot of talk about that stuff, but I felt like that was particularly poignant to the point that we had at some point in this episode before whatever the fuck happened in the last 5 minutes happened.
It wasn't attack. The clones were attacking ensemble casting.
Sure. I don't remember anymore. We went on like 6 side tangents for me to get to that point.
I can't wait for this episode to come out so I can know what happened on it.
So we can just see our collective ADHD just.
This is good, yeah.
I want to come back to a point that we've talked about many times, but I want to go into a little more detail, and that is Anakin with 2 lightsabers.
I'm in.
So, I mean, it's not too much more. I don't know if we'll be talking about this very long because it's not too much more detail. I watched the scene this time because I was disconnected from the music because it just wasn't as good. And I watched as like Obi-Wan threw him the second lightsaber. And if anything, I was gonna say on the show, you could blame Obi-Wan for being like, oh yeah, you use 2 lightsabers, you've never trained with them before, because he's the one that throws it to him. But then I watched his form. And his form is literally I'll try spinning, that's a good trick.
Yeah. This is Ben and I's time to shine right now.
Yeah.
It really is. Because it's hilarious, because, like, you know, we've talked about before. I think we talked about once. I don't think we've gotten to go into this. Ben and I both have a certain appreciation for actual, like, classical sword fighting technique. And,
yeah.
Hilariously, it seems like it'd be an advantage just on its face. If you toss even a very accomplished duelist in an actual sword fight, if you toss them a secondary sword in the middle of a fight, that is way more of a hindrance than a help. That's a, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? What have you done to me? Oh my god.
Yeah, that was my point. It's like Obi-Wan did it. I'm like, dude, you're actually hindering him.
It's hilarious. It really is. And then he really does just fucking like...
He just spins and flails.
That's
like he's on a fucking pod racer.
You just get a full Seth Rollins. Just a full, like, fucking...
He'd have been better off if he just started doing, like, fucking flourishes.
Yeah, like, he has that lightsaber for, like, 3 steps. He's like, alright, I'm just gonna block you in a circular pattern because I'm gonna try spinning and it'll be a good trick. It was not a good trick.
And, like, this is why even in, like, Star Wars, when you see people using... I've ranted about this already, but, like, when you see Ahsoka running around with 2 lightsabers, her offhanded lightsaber, her Shoto lightsaber, is shorter than the other one. Because it's fucking unruly when you have an offhanded weapon.
Yeah.
What's the thing? I mean, it would have been cool. I think Dooku's style would have worked very well if they would have given him, like, almost, because, I mean, he has almost a fencing type of style to begin with. If they gave him, like, a parrying lightsaber, you know, like you would pair a rapier with a parrying dagger, you know, that would be something I'd want to see. But, you know, then we got fucking Underhand McGee in this goddamn movie, just fucking doing some mall ninja shit.
And it's okay. So I'm gonna get real fucking Star Wars nerd.
Yeah, before you say this, can I take a guess? Just a guess before you say it.
Yeah.
Didn't Dooku use a second saber at some point in the comics?
No, he absolutely hated that fighting style, in fact. Which is hilarious, because both the people he trained had more than one lightsaber.
Well, that's a thing. Jay, you're not crazy, because I remember that as well. I think I know what it is. I'm fairly certain there was an action figure around the time of this movie's release that came with 2 lightsabers with Dooku. Because I'm fairly certain I had it. And that's why I, for a while, also thought he had 2. Because that's totally one of those things that I
didn't have that. Yeah.
I'm trying to think, because I've also had that thought a couple of times of, like, didn't Dooku use 2 lightsabers at one point? But, like, I also know, in current canon, I believe, he despised the double-bladed fighting style, you know? Like, that wasn't... But there's a chunk of knowledge somewhere in the back of my brain that's like, no, there's something where because I remember very specifically 2 of his lightsaber And it's not just a Asajj Ventress thing. It's it's specifically tied to him.
I found
Yeah.
a thread
Okay.
containing deleted shot of Dooku actually wielding 2 sabers.
That's what it is. Okay, I remember why this happened. In high school, my sister was in a graphic arts class, and she literally, before Revenge of the Sith came out, she gave me a notebook that I still actually have. I used for D&D for a friend of the show's game, and this picture is in the back of it. That's why I remember that.
That's for sure not why I have that.
That actually was planned to be in the duel in episode 2, but they cut it.
That makes
So
sense.
there were going to be 2 different people using 2 lightsabers in 2 different parts of this duel. This was going to be when he's fighting Yoda.
Maybe that's why he loses the lightsaber in like 3 steps. Because there's probably more filmed, and then they went back and post in like the second round of filming to
cut a
fix
bunch.
things. And yeah.
Well, I mean, the
Yeah.
the interesting thing there is the fact that he has like there's set photos of it. Like if you just do a cursory Google search of Dooku 2 lightsabers, there's like set footage, like footage of him on the set holding the prop sabers, like without the CG.
Okay.
So it's like a legitimate set photo too.
Which is
So,
funny
yeah, I
because
mean-
the way this photo looks, like it looks accurate, but I could also see how it could be
Yeah.
shopped. But
Uh,
no, that's a set photo.
But yeah, it's really, really strange. I'm trying to remember because I had the same thing seriously, and I'm stuck on it. Like maybe it was an action figure. It had to have been something
It
to that effect. Like
was definitely this for me.
yeah, I've never
Um,
seen. This is my first time seeing that.
I mean, they might
so-
have put like figures into like you know how George
Yeah.
Lucas is. They might have had stuff in production before they
Oh,
had everything
definitely.
off the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
Ben, you brought up an interesting point though.
I did.
I don't know. You can kind of expand on this with your lore knowledge.
Oh, no.
It's interesting that both of the Padawans, or if you want to call it that, apprentices that he made when he was on the dark side used that style that he hates so much. Grievous doubly so with 4. And then his Jedi Padawan used just one blade. Would you say lore supports that he did that in the Sith thought process of needing to kill them if need be?
No, because he actually constantly like berated Asajj Ventress for her use of 2 lightsabers. Like he constantly talked down to her about how it was like a shitty form, and he made it very clear he didn't approve of that form and didn't like that was the form she took to. Which is funny because it's actually an offshoot of the form Dooku uses. He was very much an elitist type when it came to dueling, and Ventress just preferred that style, and Grievous just spun.
That's a good trick.
My favorite's
It's
the
not.
line where Grievous is just like, "I've been trained in your Jedi arts by Count Dooku," and then he just fucking flails.
It is really good. Every time that's such a good scene. It
It's-
really is.
It's high art. It is
I've-
high art. It's
I've been
high
trained in
comedy.
your Jedi ways.
It really is like
Episode
like-
3 is the max camp, and I love it.
it's like a nerd that's just like has like someone threatening him, and he pulls out like 2 fucking what are they called, the nunchakus, and he's just like, I've been training with these since I was a young child, and he just starts flailing them, and he hits himself in the back of the head with it. That's Grievous. That's
Grievous
Grievous
has
as a
the-
character.
Grievous has the power of God and anime on his side.
But yeah, I actually know very little about Grievous's training with lightsabers.
It
But
obviously
I-
wasn't good.
I know it's what bothers me about Grievous, and I've harped on this before, is he's supposed to be this big bad Jedi killer,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't translate
I
at
mean,
all. Because the
he
one
was
time
able
we
to
see him,
defeat Master Bates in combat.
You're a real son of a bitch.
That's the thing. Like, he was presented exactly once as a great Jedi killer, and it was non-canon-esque before it was non-canon. Like,
I like to think that there was a moment in like a field somewhere. Like Palpatine's just up on a hill. He's got like one of those like Imperial guards with like an umbrella to shield him from the sun. Like a little drink.
Spear just turns into an umbrella.
Yeah, it's just I need
know,
the sun, my melanoma.
a light brella.
Yeah, and fucking Dooku is down in the field with Grievous, and Dooku's like, all right, we're going to train in the Jedi ways, and then fucking Grievous just started helicoptering, and Dooku just looked over at Palpatine and went, yeah, I can't work with this guy. And that was the end of it. That was the end of his training.
And Palpatine's looking down with like that smile, like,
Yes, spin them. Spin
Well,
the
that-
lightsabers.
He's just watching them, and Dooku's trying his hardest, and he kind of looks at the stormtrooper by him. He goes, well, that guy's the shits, isn't he? Yes. The absolute shits. The drizzling shits.
Dooku trained so many goddamn people
Yeah.
with lightsaber combat. Because in the Clone Wars, spoilers, he trains Savage Opress as well. So he trained Qui-Gon, Grievous, Savage, Asajj Ventress, probably one or two more people.
There's
You know what?
there's even more in the EU.
I would love a spin-off of Qui-Gon and Dooku,
Yeah.
like the early days.
That would be great.
Because what must have happened for Qui-Gon to become the way Qui-Gon is? Like, what drove Qui-Gon to, like, the space coke? That's what I want to know. And at what point did it affect his ability to hold in his urine?
So here's how I picture that going, and it's really not that funny, but it is how I picture it. I think Dooku was a really good master in all the wrong ways, and Qui-Gon was always kind of a dick, and like he had like this teenage rebellion phase that he never got out of, and Dooku went to the dark side. He's like, oh, this guy's a fucking dick. Maybe Jedi things aren't for me anymore. Because, like, Qui-Gon was kind of right? But, like, also, he's an asshole.
Yeah.
Dooku walked away for a lot of the reasons Qui-Gon was like, fuck you to the council.
See, Qui-Gon, I make fun of Qui-Gon a lot, but he's actually a pretty great character.
Yeah.
Like, he feels like, it's, I think it's a trope at this point that in any medium where there's a character that kind of sees what's up and sees through the bullshit and everything, that character's always kind of an asshole.
Like
And that's
DJ.
kind of the way Qui-Gon's for fucking...
Our buddy BJ.
No, not our buddy BJ. Don't.
We've
Take the
already
edit
done
down.
it.
Don't put.
We've already
wipe
done
the photo away. Take it down. Get that out. Get that out of here. I don't want to see that shit.
I brought you into the world, and I'll take you out.
Bitch. Look, at the end of the day, this movie is horrible in a lot of places, but it also features the funniest goddamn assassination attempt in any medium ever. Just, it's my favorite assassination attempt.
It's not even so much the assassination attempt. It's the immediate aftermath of the assassination attempt.
Yeah. Like Jay said it earlier, it's one of the things that made me think of it. Like, they really did try to assassinate, like, with centipedes. That was your assassination attempt.
Against two Jedi.
Yeah. I do love so much when they notice, and Obi-Wan walks in right before they start talking and notice something's up. He's like, oh, the cameras are off. And Anakin's like, yeah, I guess you didn't like me watching. It's like, fucking, I mean, you think? Like, Look at Anakin's pressed up face to the glass, just watching the goddamn cameras.
Padme, are you okay in there?
He's just pressed up against the door. Padme, are you okay in there? Padme, are you breathing?
We've talked in the past about recasting people.
Oh no.
Recast centipedes.
God damn it. So we've talked in the past about recasting people in the Star Wars movies. I have a suggestion. I would like to cast recast two people in this movie, and they're both the same actor, and I promise it's not Obama.
Oh no.
Okay.
Who's Vin Diesel this time?
No.
It's gotta be either Obama or Vin Diesel.
I want to recast both Anakin and Obi-Wan as Leslie Nelson and make this a Naked Gun movie. It's just going to be Naked Gun because that's what this assassination attempt feels like.
Yeah.
It feels like a Naked Gun movie. Not that I'm a big fan of Naked Gun, but it might as well be.
The dive out of the window is just so unforgivably
Naked Gun.
confusing.
Yeah.
It's a confusing move.
It's like, I feel like, and I don't really like the Naked Gun movies at all, but I feel like if you do that, it would really show how bad this script is. Like, how it was written by an insane person who accidentally wrote comedy.
I think I could fix this whole scene in one new scene that we have to record.
Okay.
So we bring back Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor, Samuel L. Jackson, and
A Downtime Darth flashback episode.
yeah, Samuel L. Jackson, whoever's voicing Yoda these days.
Danny
We
DeVito.
just we have Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito,
Perfect.
come on the podcast,
Perfect.
voice Yoda. Please,
And
please.
then it's just a scene of them in like the Jedi Council chambers, just the four of them, right after the assassination attempt. And it's just the four of them, and Mace just looks at them and goes, "I mean, what happened? We heard you dove out of a window. Something." She filed a complaint with HR. You were watching her through the cameras intently. You were breathing through the crack in the door. I mean, what happened, boys? Do we need to talk? We got Master Yoda. Oh, very disappointed we are.
It reads as a Keaton Peele sketch.
It reads as the scene from 21 Jump Street, and then at the end of the
Yeah.
scene, he's like, "You've been sleeping with the senator?" And
my God,
Obi-Wan's
that's
just running around going, "He slept with the senator! He slept with the senator!"
It's just it fixes the whole thing. It's just Mace Windu just berating them, like, and then you just had a high-speed chase through the air, and you were plummeting, and
The amount of damage you did on the lower city, I don't even know where to begin.
I'm just I need a supercut of Obi-Wan jumping out the window and that whole sequence, and then it cuts to the meme of 6'2" Scorch from Delta Squad saying your tactics frighten and confuse and scare me, sir.
It's impressive because there's no consideration, there's no thought. He looks, fucking him and the droid make eye contact, and he's out the window.
Well, it's because it was a part of Palpatine's plan. Palpatine goes, yes, and then he'll jump out the window. Sir, I don't think he's gonna jump after the droid. He'll do it. Watch.
No, I know this Obi-Wan. He loves throwing himself out of windows like a javelin. Obi-Wan Kenobi goes through life like a man who's been cursed with immortality. Like, he's trying to figure out a way to kill himself, and he can't, and the universe won't let him. And he was getting too close, and the universe went, no, fuck you, you need an Anakin Skywalker. And then there's a fucking, he's plummeting through space, he's like, I'm gonna die, and then fucking Anakin somehow sweeps in and saves him.
God damn it, Anakin, not again.
Yeah, he's plummeting out of the sky, and he's like, finally, the sweet, sweet embrace of death. And then here comes Anakin with a fucking speeder, and he's like, how?
He would never do it, but he's looking for it.
Yeah.
I do love how we have set up this precedent that now episode 4 is much more entertaining to watch that duel, because the way Obi-Wan looks around, it's like, oh, I could save Luke, but now it reads as, it's my time. This is my
time.
chance.
That's the thing. I wanna tiptoe around this topic.
He's actually gonna kill me.
I want to tiptoe around this conversation a little bit. Obi-Wan doesn't have the will to live, I think is the right way to describe this. So, but like he's not like every time he's in a dangerous situation, he doesn't put himself in dangerous situations, but when he's in one, he's like, yeah, it's fine. If I die here,
he doesn't fight for it. He gives up with just the smallest amount of pressure.
He's like a D&D player that really doesn't want to be playing their character anymore, and or a D&D player that is so willing for a character to have a good death that they'll give up way too fast. He's just holding the lightsaber. He looks over. He goes, yeah, this seems like a good time to have my character killed off. Oh, now 20. Fuck yeah.
It's like a Viking constantly just like trying to get into Valhalla. Like I have to be doing something to get there. Like yes, perfect. I'm dying in space battle. I'm falling out of the sky after trying to get a bounty hunter. And here's fucking Anakin Skywalker in to save me.
Let Kenobi go to Valhalla.
He is the stereotypical orc from any Elder Scrolls game that's wandering around like, give me an honorable death, traveler. And you're just like, nope. And he's like, God damn it.
He saw omnipotence in episode 3 and he couldn't go back.
He achieved Nirvana. He achieved Kim, and then he realized I must be a hermit in the desert.
A desert in the hermit.
He realized I must be a hermit in the desert for the next 19 years, and then allow a teenager to put me in a situation where I'll get murdered.
Is this Kenobi series gonna like officially make Obi-Wan Space Jesus? Are we gonna find out he had some sort of omnipotence?
He already is. We've already uncovered the truth.
We've uncovered the truth.
Well, that's the thing. Like maybe he sequestered himself out on Tatooine and learned like Jedi secrets, lost to the ages, and Obi-Wan's just like fucking space Jesus now. Just
I'm imagining that first like month out in the desert, he's just sitting there in his hut, and all of a sudden, like, all of the puzzle pieces of the Clone Wars click, and he just sits there and goes, God damn it, it was Palpatine who made the clones.
I would like to do something a little odd that I've never done before and will never do again, if you two will allow it. I would like, because this has been an episode, so I take care of the naming of the episode pitches and everybody else votes off of it. I would really just like to read off these names, just this once.
I'm scared.
Oh god, we've had some impressive titles. I'm scared what they are for this episode, that it's warranted this.
They might be Star Wars. I have things to work out in therapy. Make the pun. Oops, all Brussels sprouts. Mr. Prime Minister Man. Oops, all Clone Army. Oops, a Clone Army, I apologize. Underhand McGee. One I can't read my handwriting on, and a desert in the hermit. That's what this episode has been. I
wanna start a project one of these days where I'm gonna just compile all the episode titles we've used.
I think I've gotten rid of most of them, although they all might
through them. No, the ones that we've used, like the ones that actually we've accepted.
Oh, I have all of those. I have all those.
And they're up on our various
I know, but
places
one
where
day,
we post
one
our
day I want to
episodes.
do like a retrospective on some of the highlights.
I mean, you could go through our links when we put them out for release days on our Twitter over at SWEWF on
Yeah,
Twitter.
you can peruse our podcast lists on YouTube and Spotify and Pandora and Apple Music and
Not Apple
TuneIn, which I love to just say
And while
TuneIn.
you're there, you can check out.
Yeah, no,
Now
Apple
this
Music.
is most certainly pod racing.
Over on YouTube, yes, you can
Over
check
on
out.
YouTube.
You could also, I believe there's a video somewhere calling that says just "You're all shameless whores," and we will advertise as such.
Are we advertising our podcast on our podcast right now?
Yeah.
Did
we're
Jay just
advertising
call
our-
us shameless whores?
all three of us? Yes.
I mean, she's not wrong.
I mean, she's not wrong.
all three of us. We are advertising like
I will
shameless whores.
proudly announce my shameless horridness.
Listen, I'm
Yes.
beaten down by capitalism at this point. Where am I gonna go?
I had a coworker who was so happy the other day that I used the phrase "late stage capitalism, baby."
That's another thing we can talk about before we go away here. For whatever reason, using the comma and then the word baby is something that we have all picked up through this podcast.
It really is, though.
It was just, I forget what it was. He was coming out and he was complaining about something, and I gave the finger guns, and I go, "That's late stage capitalism for you, baby." And he just got the biggest fucking smile on his face. He goes, "I never thought I'd see the day where someone here would use that term."
I don't remember what it was, but I used that on my wife the other night. Like, I did something and like that's whatever, baby, and like with the fucking voice and everything. And she's like, "The fuck did you say to me?"
This has been Star Wars Every Week Forever, baby.
Baby.
Good night. Baby. Good night. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to say that to you all. It's been Star Wars Every Week Forever. Good night. I'm very sorry, friends. I didn't mean to call you all whores. I can call myself a whore. I didn't mean
I
to call
am
you.
a fucking whore.
Listen, I'm a whore for capitalism at this point. Disney, fucking give me money, bitch. Listen.
Disney, give me money.
Listen, you Mickey Mouse motherfucker.
Go, get us out of this episode. Get us out of this.
Fucking $30 for a fucking movie on your fucking app.
If you enjoyed that episode, why not like and subscribe? Also, share it with a couple friends. Bring them into this hellscape that we've done to ourselves. You can catch brand new episodes every single Wednesday on Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, pretty much every other platform you get your podcasts on. If you'd like to extend the suffering, you can catch us over on twitter.com at SWEWF. We post direct links to brand new episodes every week as soon as we upload them, and you can catch the occasional other dumb Star Wars take, and who wouldn't want that? Catch you guys later.